Now I am live. So, all right, just give me a minute and I will sort out that we're showing publicly. Yes, we are. Okay, right. We are live. It's another episode of Diaspora Lounge, even though I am posting it on my personal page today. Thank you for joining us wherever you're joining from. Today, we hope to delve into an issue that is going to go beyond even what the title says. And it's following from the topic that we had over the past 2 weeks. And I think it's good timing. And let me just make a little disclaimer. We discuss these things to help all of us because none of us are perfect. And so I'm only saying this because of some questions that I get backstage, messages sent to me, and we're happy that we're able to actually help people because a lot of people are going through all the things that we discuss. And even your sister, your brother, your closest friend, you don't know that this is what they're going through. But sharing these things helps all of us to see that there are things that we're not considering um, in in our everyday lives, and we may be having things more difficult than they should be. Whereas the answers are really simple. And I do think that life is generally simple, but we complicate things. But let me not go on a different tangent here. Let me just introduce the topic. Today we're talking about staying in dead relationships. And the question is why? As soon as I introduce the guests that are with me on the panel today, we will read out the message that we received and then we will delve into the topic. So let's go. Thank you for joining us on this episode. Today,
if you don't have something, nobody can run from that.
It's like term solution.
You came out that day trying to sound strong as a president that is hitting the ground.
Different. Yes.
Yes. So that is when you say my Lord in that sense.
all right. So I'm going to add everyone else to the stream. Yeah, great to see you guys, Aki and Easy. It's great to have you again today. How was your week?
My week was great. Mostly
Aki,
spent
it looks like you've been having too much fun.
well,
Confess.
it's a holiday, so being with family, so we've been having a lot of fun.
You look refreshed.
Thank you, thank you. We all need the refreshment sometimes.
Does he
Yeah,
look
we do.
refreshed? I don't think he's been
Yeah.
sleeping. I think he's just been having too much fun. Okay. Easy, how was your week?
Oh, it was good. It was good. Stressful sometimes, but okay. All the same. All in all, it was okay. It was a good week.
Okay, that's great to know. Mine was majorly stressful, but I don't mind the stress that I had. It was good stress. Anyway, okay, yeah. All right, so let's delve into the sad topic today. As I was saying before, when I was introducing, I was saying that a lot of us go through these problems, different problems. If I'm not going through the one that I'm reading out today, maybe I'm going through a different one. Same with, I guess, I want to believe Aki and Easy, because none of us are perfect. But want to be learning from these things. We're not really talking people. Um, not too long ago, I was talking to somebody that I saw in a certain light. I thought that this person was so great. But when I got to I just asked a simple question and she was like, Uzo, you don't even know, you have no idea about me. And then she opened her mouth and shared the most horrific story with me. And so that's the thing with all of us. When you're looking at the next person and you're thinking, that everything is perfect with them. You never know what they're going through, right? Okay, so let me delve into today's topic. This is the message that we got from the woman. My two children have told me severally. Oh, sorry, let me take a break. This is following from the last two discussions that we had. The first one was about people who had issues with considering marrying someone from a divorced family, from a divorced background. And then the next topic that I discussed after that was people withholding their their partner from having a relationship with their children. And we talked about different issues arising from those situations. And now today we're talking about a woman who does not want to break up her home. And this is her story. My two children have told me severally that they would be happier if I left their dad. But I have continued to remain in my marriage, even though it's been really tough. Mainly because my own parents were divorced and I'm afraid of it becoming a cycle. Now I feel I'm letting them down because they are seeing a very bad example of the marriage. And yet, if I don't make this marriage work, it will look like divorce is our family history. I am afraid of making it a cycle. I really don't want to give any chances if I can help it. I have endured all manner of abuse, and our children even moved out of our home as soon as they could, preferring to stay with friends rather than under the same roof with him, that is being their dad. And I didn't tell her that I have heard other stories like this, but I told her that we're going to discuss this today. And so let's get into this. Now, one of the questions that I want to start with. She has made a decision to stay in this marriage, and apparently it is for the children, because she believes that because her own parents were divorced, she wants to make sure that her marriage does not break up, because she thinks that this will be continuing a cycle. And it makes sense because of people who think, oh, this person's parents were divorced, and so they're going to have the likelihood of also getting a divorce. I guess this is part of what's playing at the back of her mind for her children. She doesn't want it to be her parents where she is, and now her children will have to also get that stigma. So let's get into this. Akim, Izzy, what do you feel about this?
Sorry, I have some interruptions that I can't control, some background noise. So let me allow Kings speak while I mute myself
Okay.
just for a few minutes, please.
All right. My take is that there's actually nothing wrong in anyone making sacrifices, because I believe this woman, what she's doing is that she's making sacrifices for the sake of their children, of our children. But I dare say that more like to the detriment of our own happiness. And I know that we've discussed something similar in the past, where I said the most important thing in anybody's life is their happiness. Anything you're doing that does not provide happiness for you, then there's no point, because life is too short. Do you understand? Life is too short for you to suffer abuse and all kinds of atrocities, hoping that one day they will come to an end or whatever. But I can also understand from the point of view of a mother who is trying to protect the psyche of her children. But the truth about it is that in trying to protect the psyche, you might also be destroying their psyche. You must make life very plain to your children. Every situation that you see me facing, or that is existing between me and you can explain to the children if they are old enough. It now depends on the age of the children. But if the children are old enough, you can tell them that, look, not every marriage, not every family situation is like this. But this is like this because of one, two, three reasons.
Mhm.
Understand me? Instead of and they have a false sense of the fact that, okay, this is how a marriage is, and this is the amount of sacrifice you've got to make, maybe at the expense of your own happiness and at the expense of your own life. It's better to lay it bare to the children and let them understand the extremes of life. That sometimes relationships, admit your own mistakes. Do you understand me? And say, okay, I made this mistake. So maybe when you are getting into a relationship with a woman or a man, you don't make this mistake. Do you understand me? And say, look, not every relationship ends up like this, but our own is like this because of one thing, what somebody said, somebody did, and all of that. But you must put it in perspective. So they have the two sides of the story or the two sides of the coin. So that when they grow, you understand me, they will learn better and make better decisions in their own lives. But to begin to do it, persevere and do even when it's at the cost of your life, you're sending the wrong signal. You might inadvertently be destroying their own psyche that you are trying to protect. So the truth needs to be told. Yes, I agree with sacrifices, but sacrifices have limits.
Okay, thank you very much for pointing out those facts. I think that what you said is very, very balanced. And maybe I'm biased because that's what I think as well. Where I feel that there might be an issue is even when I think about it myself and I think about solving things like this, I know that our culture doesn't encourage us to talk with our children in this way, because what you suggested is what I have actually opened my mouth and said many times in the past. Will you talk to your children? Let us talk to our children. Let us open our mouths and tell them that we're not perfect. This is what we did. We made this mistake. And this is the reason why you see this and that, so that they also will have this at the back of their minds when they're making their decisions and not fall into these traps. Because sometimes even the person who has fallen into a terrible situation like this, they know that they could have done better if they had chosen differently. But instead, what you find some people doing is they'll say what God cannot do does not exist, one, which we're going to still talk about later. And then they will just stay in a thing like this because of the children without explaining to the children that this and that and that and that. And then the children are imbibing this. So I have a lady who actually said to me, I spoke to my mother. I told her that she's the reason. I am obsessed with her because she's the reason why I remained in this marriage, because she did the same with our father. And when I saw the problems in my marriage, I just felt that I should stay the same way that you stayed. And now today, the son is so enraged against the father and even talked about wishing the father dead. So you can imagine this. Now, the marriage is not broken. She is keeping it, but you're keeping it because of your children, and this is the way the children are feeling, And I've actually had children, I've had people from two families tell me this, that they actually wish that their family was not together like this, because they know that what's happening between their parents is not all right and they don't like it and it's affecting them adversely. So Izzy, what do you feel?
I feel it's a very bad decision to make, even if it's not for your kids, for yourself as a person.
Mm-hmm.
There is more to life than you know um killing yourself before you actually die. That's how it
Mm-hmm.
is in a situation like that. Because just like Akin said, the ideas you're passing on to them, you're gradually destroying them. You're telling them that the negative things should, they should continue in a situation that they are not comfortable in. First of all, you are being in a damaged or dead relationship goes a longer way than that. You're actually showing these kids that if the relationship involves violence, you're teaching them that violence is okay. You're teaching them that it's all right. Cry through it. You'll be fine. Because if you're not fine, you will not be there. So now that is part of the reason why we have so many damaged adults, is because of the way they were raised. Some mothers, based on our, lead story, insist up till this day. In fact, this hits home because I have someone around me going through similar situation in my neighborhood. And it's so bad that sometimes I wish I'm related to you. And when I started digging a bit deep, I realized that even relatives have gotten involved. And she said no for her kids. Just a couple of years ago, or was it last year, we heard about, a popular celebrity, a singer that lost her life to domestic violence. And then when she died, the stories came up, and we're seeing that even the family interfered at a point, and she said, no, you know, I'll pray it out. And the mindset you're creating on these kids, some of them turn out to become very violent to their partners because that is the only way they know. Some of them turn out to hate men or women, depending on who the aggressor is. Some of them turn out so timid that they can't stand up for themselves. So any which way is not, there is no win in this situation. It's a lose-lose all the way. It's a loss for you, it's a loss for your kids. The woman might end up even dying because she wants to stay. And then the kids you're fighting to stay for, what would be said of them at the end of the day when you're gone? So it's absurd, and it's rampant in our society, to be sincere. It's rampant. If you put your ears down and you listen, the stories are there on social media, but even let's count those ones out because we don't know how real they are. They are in our neighborhoods. Some are suffering and smiling, you don't even know. And it's so deep that some young girls have grown up to dislike their fathers with so much hate. And then when they come across even a very good man, that hate somehow metamorphoses into the next relationship because they see that image of their failed father in everybody they come across. So I would not advocate for anyone to stay on in a broken relationship. It's a no.
I love the way both of you have taken it down to the effects on the children, um, because that's really what I talk about a lot. And because I feel that for every problem that we have, we lots of the time when we're trying to solve a problem and we are dealing with that problem head on, if we don't get to the root of the matter, no matter what we do at the top, we are really not going to solve it because we need to find out where it started from. So these relationships, I think I would even say that for this woman getting into this relationship with this man and staying in it, I would say that for us to even get into these relationships, I know that relationships will not always be perfect, but for us to even get into these relationships, I think that a lot of us are used to seeing dysfunction and accepting it as the norm. And that's what's happening with kids who are seeing all this. Now, if somebody grows up seeing this kind of dynamics in the family, let's even not talk about the ones that are this extreme, even things that are less than this. I find that a lot of the time when you're talking with people, they say, "Oh, problems are always part of relationships." Yes, problems are always part of relationships, but there are certain problems that should not be part of the relationship. You're especially when you're at the beginning of that relationship, you already see that this thing is very problematic. I put up a picture. This thing you're seeing is leading to nowhere. You already see it, but you feel already in your mind that problems are part of relationships. And so you're not even phased. You just feel like it's part of life. We'll sort it out. Whereas some of those things that you're seeing are things that are enough for you to know this is a no-go and you should get out of it. Like, you might say something.
Yeah, I actually wanted to say something. You know, a lot of people will watch us or will listen to us and will think, oh, these people are pro divorce. No, we must correct that notion. We are not pro divorce.
Thank you for reminding me of that, Howard.
Yeah, we are not pro divorce. What we are against is people staying in uh toxic
Toxic.
relationship
Yeah.
Creating, in fact, even
so,
creating it. Well, sister.
yes, staying in toxic relationships, taking um staying in relationships that takes away their happiness, you understand me, their joy, for the sake of one thing or the other. Nothing is worth your happiness. and nothing is worth your life, because a lot of these people eventually end up either getting maimed, getting killed, or suffering one,
Or getting sick. I don't
yes,
know what the sickness is.
life changing, dramatically life changing situations in their lives. So we're not pro divorce. I know
Mhm.
that, yes, no marriage is perfect. Even the best marriages are not perfect. There will always be challenges, but challenges have degree.
Mhm.
There are degrees of challenges. Challenges that take away your joy or your happiness on a daily basis, that are
Your
likely to
integrity.
take, yeah, your integrity. The challenges that will take away your life
Or tear
potentially.
you down mentally.
Yes,
Yeah.
or tear you, that will drag you down the mental lane. You understand? Those are the relationships we are talking about, that you
Yeah.
do not do it for the sake of, say, the children, because in the long run, the same children you're trying to protect, you will destroy their mental psyche over
Yeah.
over the time, and you might create monsters that you will not even know that you're creating until they get into the later lives of their lives, where they are trying to, maybe build their own relationships, and all those experiences start
Mm-hmm.
flooding back and shaping, the kind of
Absolutely.
view, yes, the kind of view that they have about other human beings, whether of the same sex or other opposite sexes. So
Mhm.
it's basically, so it's not about us promoting divorce. It's about us saying that people must take charge of their
Care of
lives.
themselves
Yes,
first.
take
Yeah.
charge of your life and stop doing what I call nonsense for the sake of the same children you're trying to protect. Because, see, it's very simple. You can be in a relationship where maybe it's not so smooth. You understand me? It might not be violent. It might not even be maybe verbal abuse, but you know that the situation is not. But you can still talk to your children that, please don't mistake what is happening between me and your dad, or between me and your mom, as what is normal. Do you
Mhm.
understand me?
You have to tell
Yeah.
them.
Yes, and you have to
You have to
continually
tell
talk to
them.
them. Don't mistake what is happening between me and your mom, or me and your dad, as normal. There are relationships, there are families where this does not exist. And if you have similar examples, or some examples close to you, you can point them out. But the bottom line of it, you must not let them go away from the family thinking this is how a typical relationship is. So even if you are not going to divorce the person, that means you must do the other side, which is the communication with the children. So
Or even if, yes. Oh, I'm
Hmm.
sorry. I'm
no,
sorry.
it's okay.
Yeah. Even if you're telling them that this what's happening between us here is not normal, it's actually our duty to remind them that not just what's happening between us here is not normal.
Yeah,
Tell them what you
yeah,
know that a normal relationship is supposed to
yeah,
be like.
yeah,
And let them know that a lot of us, and this is how I arrived here, because I didn't know so, or because something like such and such happened to me. So that, even because the reason I'm drawing attention to this is because if I say what's happening between your dad and I is not the normal, and what's happening between these other people is not the normal, it's just for them to know. So don't start thinking that, okay, so what's happening here is not normal, what's happening there is not. So generally relationships always have one thing or the other. It's actually not true,
yeah,
because
Mm-hmm.
there are people who say this, and this is the reason why they feel that whatever is happening with them, it's okay, because no matter what you do, it's not true. It's
yeah,
actually not true.
yeah,
It is that a lot of us, right? A lot of us saw dysfunction in the society.
yeah,
And yes, and that's why I was talking to a young man before he married his wife. The issues were already there. And it was very clear that this is a relationship that was a no go. It was very, very clear. But his response was, relationships always come with issues. I'm like, no, you're not joined at the hips. Once you see that these issues are there, these are fundamental issues. This is not for you. Everybody has their fate. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean there's something wrong with that person. It just doesn't
Yeah.
fit. it does not fit you. It's not suitable for your personality. So don't try to change that person. No, we shouldn't be trying to change people.
Yeah.
Go for what fits you.
You
And
remember?
I feel,
Okay, go on.
oh no,
Daisy.
you go ahead.
You
And I
remember
actually,
a few episodes ago? I was talking about something. A lot of people do not agree with me, but it's a principle in life. I said when two people want to get married, their characters do not 100% gel. There's nothing like soulmate. There's nothing like okay, we are perfect for each other. No, because two people are coming from different backgrounds with different experiences and different
and
yeah.
orientations.
So, but
Yeah.
one thing everyone needs to, and that relates to what Uzo was just saying now. What
Mm-hmm.
everyone needs to do when they are getting married to someone is see them. At least let's assume that they display their real characters, because some people hide. So you
Mm-hmm.
only discover when you get married. But
And that one I doubt.
no,
I
no,
doubt.
no. I understand. You might see some things, but you might not see them in their full regalia. You
Yes.
understand? But let's just assume that people display 60-70% of their characteristics while you are going out with them or while you are courting. You understand me? The more important thing is that you must look at their character. You understand me? And know
Yeah.
that okay, this is what my partner is doing. Okay, for me, you should not have the intention of changing the person when you get into marriage, as you said, Uzo. But you must be able to say that, look, okay, this that my partner is doing, or what he's doing, or the character that he has, I can live with it. And there are some that you can't live with. If the ones that you can't live with is beyond two,
Outweighs. Yeah.
you understand me?
This is beyond school.
Yes, yes,
If
because
it
even one,
outweighs.
even one
Yeah.
is difficult to tackle. Even one
Mm-hmm.
is difficult to overlook. Do you understand? So if you see, okay, this I can't live with this. Some people have certain characteristics. No one is perfect, but some people have certain character that you cannot live with, because when you marry them, it will become exacerbated. It becomes more pronounced.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? So,
Yeah.
and it's going to get at you with time. So it's better than to say, I can't live with this. Oh, this one is a no-no for me. Oh, everybody must have a no-no. And you cannot marry a partner that has a no-no character for you. And there are things that people do, that partners or your who you are going out with do, that you feel okay, even if she does it or he does it while I am married to it doesn't really bother me. Do you understand me?
Mm-hmm.
As in, I'm not going to be trying, I'll just take it as that is the person. And when you're able to take somebody as that, this is who this person is, it is easier for you. It doesn't disturb you psychologically or any other one. But the ones that you cannot say, me, I don't think I can live. You must not go into that relationship, or else you might become very frustrated. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. People must be fair and to themselves at the beginning of marriages, or at the beginning of relationship leading to marriage, and say to you, my partner has this character. Okay, it's okay. I can live with that. I mean, that's who he or she
You
is.
just reminded me of
But
something.
this one, I cannot. Oh, so you go off. It's a as they say, it's a deal. As they say in business, it's a
Deal
deal
breaker.
breaker.
The deal breaker.
I was thinking of that.
You just reminded me of something very good. So I think that because all of us, every one of us will come with one thing or the other.
Yeah.
It's take the person that you have actually seen their negatives. I encourage people to show every part of them, even
Yes.
the one that you think is negative. Because here is the truth: even the one you think is negative, this person may not find it negative. You think
Yes.
it's negative.
Yeah.
This person may not find it negative. But I know that I'm just preaching. So I'm preaching to the wall, But for me, yes, I'm going to show you everything, because I prefer for you to know, so that when you're accepting it, you will know that you have already seen the negatives and you're able to deal with it.
Yeah.
And yes, so I prefer for people to also show me their negatives. I say to people, when I ask them for something, if you're not going to be able to do it, just tell me no. If you can say no to me, I'll appreciate it a lot better, because this way I know what I had to deal with, right? And so when you see someone and you've seen their negatives and you are still happy to go ahead, then you're on point, right?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
continue this
Yes.
conversation. Our time
You've
is up for
accepted the
now.
person.
Huh?
Our time.
Oh, um, I think let's give it a few. Should we let's give it 5 more minutes
Okay.
Okay.
So let
because
me come in here. I coming to kids, I feel it's not right for you to be in a very toxic relationship and be preaching to them that this is not normal. You're sending mixed
ah
signals.
Okay.
You have to
ah
practice what you preach. I can't tell you that this dysfunction you're looking at is not a norm. It's there are better marriages, and I'm not showing you that.
ah
Try as much as you can, but when you try and it's not moving forward, think of your kids. If you really want to think about them, think about the impact in their lives. It's not enough to just say it, show them. Because kids at a particular stage, at all stages, they emulate more of what they see than what they hear. Their visuals work more than their audio. So you
Yeah.
have to, if I tell you this is not right, and he comes home shouting, I can't match him up with a shout and I can't be timid, but you have to present a better front so that they
Yeah.
know that what you're telling them is right, and
Yeah.
where it's not working,
Yeah.
think of the best solution for them. That's my input.
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm,
I totally agree with you. The fact of talking to them about telling them that this is not the norm. It's not a prolonged
Hmm.
exercise. It's
Hmm.
basically in communicating rather than just staying there and keeping silent.
Hmm.
Do you understand? Because when you keep silent, they will only see the visuals.
Yeah.
You understand me? And they will take whatever
Hmm.
they will take from the visuals. It's basically to whatever you're doing to also have a verbal communication to them and create a different picture from what they're seeing. That does not
Hmm.
mean you should stay in that abusive relationship. But sometimes relationships are a work in progress. So it's
Hmm.
when you adopt that style of work in progress, and that means you also must be above board in your
Hmm.
character or
Yeah.
your responses to the situation that you find on ground. So that's what I actually meant. But one thing I was trying to say earlier was the fact that, oh, ah, it skipped my mind. I wanted
Sorry.
to say something very, very
Sorry.
important. Yeah. And it's about the fact that I'll remember it anyway. I'll remember.
Okay.
But I can't remember right now.
okay. So I'm just making a note for people who are going to join us for part two because we are moving from here.
Yeah.
Part two of staying in a dead relationship.
Okay. What I wanted to say, maybe I'll say it in the second part. I remember now.
Okay.
What I wanted to say is that a lot of people also do not know that sometimes when a break in a relationship, huh,
huh.
Hmm.
sometimes call
Hmm.
people to order. More like it resets their mental.
Oh, oh
Yes,
my
it resets
God.
their mental states.
Do you read
What?
my mind?
Yeah, it resets their mental state.
As
Sometimes
you,
when
sta- as you started mentioning a break, something
yeah,
just came to my mind.
yeah. So when things are happening and there's no break,
Yes.
there's a
Yes.
Yeah.
tendency for the person dishing out all of the
All the
abuse and
crap.
all of that to think that that will go
Continuity.
on forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
a break is not always permanent. A temporary break
It's
sometimes
sometimes necessary. Mhm.
helps to reset the mind and the brain of the people who are dishing out the absurdities.
You're my twin brother.
So that was what I was trying to say. That yes,
Oh gosh.
women, men, people should not be too afraid to
Yes,
put a break to a
Yes.
relationship that is
absolutely.
abusive and toxic, because
Mm-hmm.
by so doing you might actually help in resetting the mental capacity and or the brain or the character of the person dishing out the absurdity. So basically, I will advise that if you look at the situation and you think, oh, I can't go on with this, break it up.
Yeah.
Not with the intention of making it permanent.
Yes.
The only
Permanent.
time you make it permanent is that when you see over a certain period of time, you see that there's no change, or there's no remorse, there's no what do you call it in Christianity now? There's no repentance. Do you understand me? From the other person, and then you can then make it permanent. Yeah.
Yes. And another point with that is that if you don't, actually, maybe we'll continue that on our next time. Yes. So we're shifting our send the message for anyone who is seeing this to join us in part 2. All right. Okay. See you in a couple of minutes.
See you.
Right.
Bye.
I'm enjoying this.